welcome to a day in the kitchen. So today I'm working with Vincent Webb, and later to join us will be Cole Manus, our livestock agent here in Guilford County. And I'm Sarah Pascal, the 4-H agent here in Guilford County. And here today, we're gonna work on jerky.
Hey everybody, Vincent Webb here, Family Consumer Sciences agent. I'll be talking to you about food safety when it comes to jerky. Now, the reason why I personally love jerky is because we can use it when we go out camping, backpacking. It's quick, it's easy, high in protein, things like that. Now, it might be a little bit higher in sodium content, but when you're out there and you need to replace those electrolytes, it is a good, tasty snack. However, we do have to be safe when we are making jerky. Now, most of the time, you're going to use something like beef, pork. You could even use wild game. Alright? So, what we want to look out for, especially with pork and wild game, is trichinella. So, we don't want that to proliferate in the product. So, what we want to do, we want to process it properly. We want to process our meat, go ahead and freeze it, and put it away. So, we don't have that development of the bacteria that causes essentially trichinosis. Alright? So one of the things that we can actually do with our meats as well is we can marinate. Alright? Today we're going to be using a teriyaki marinade. And we can do a dry rub. We're going to be using a Creole seasoning. Alright? So we have our ground meat here. And we just want to handle that as if we were handling any other type of ground meat. Alright? A red meat, you will want to be able to do that to a 160 degrees Fahrenheit at its internal temperature. You want to make sure you're using clean utensils. We have little containers here. We already cleaned them. We got them good to go. We have our tongs so we can handle the meat. We also have some gloves that we'll be using. And if we need to measure, we have measuring cups. We also have a baking pan, which is sitting right below our little Rubbermaid containers here. And we want to make sure we're doing things step by step so that we don't contaminate the items. It's good if you're thawing meat to do it in the refrigerator. So that's one of the best things you could do. You can allow it to thaw over that good, what we call the sweet spot 2-day period. And then you can process your meat and make it into jerky. Alright? So that's exactly what we're looking at. And we always want to make sure when we're doing the meat specifically that we're doing it 160 degrees Fahrenheit internal temperature. Alright, so that's kind of like your little safety brief right there. And here's our dehydrator. So it is heated up and ready to go. Alright?
We have our ground meat here. As you can see, we're breaking the meat up, and we have our seasoning on the side. We're using a Creole seasoning for our dry rub today. And now we're going to add our seasoning. So we just add a little bit at a time. And for this 3 pounds, we used about 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup. Mixing it together now. Just trying to get it incorporated. Now we have the jerky gun. We are going to insert some of the meat into the jerky gun. I like to do a little bit at a time. Just fill it up. Right. I think we have it right where we want it. I'm gonna get my pan ready now, and I'm gonna lay it out. Put my cap on. Now we're ready to go. So we have a dual output. Have twin strips there. And then we have our tube, more cylinder type or cone type. Comes off in what I call the Slim Jim style. And then we have the single flat. Pump it until you are ready to lay it out. And there you go, into nice even strips. Alright, now that we have it all laid out, we have it on our dehydrator grate. We are going to insert it into our dehydrator.
So in preparation for making our jerky out of the strips of meat, we are preheating our oven to 275. And the reason we're doing that is if you put your strips of meat in the oven for 10 minutes at 275 before putting it in the dehydrator, it drastically cuts down on your time in the dehydrator. So instead of being 10 hours or more, we're looking at only 3 hours of time to dehydrate our strips of jerky. And we're going to show you how to do that in just a minute.
As you can see, we have our ground up top and our tenderloin down at the bottom. Give it about 3.5 hours and it'll be ready to go. Here we are. We are ready to go. Pulling out our tenderloin first. And again, this was after about 3.5 hours. Wanted to reach 160 degrees Fahrenheit. And here we are, all laid out, tasting time. Both the ground and the tenderloin. Alright everybody, now we are getting ready to package our jerky. So you want to leave some space in the bag. Put it in there, fill it up, I would say about halfway. That's a pretty good portion for someone. Getting any moisture out, making sure that there's no moisture in there. You can also slide in the desiccant packets that you've seen in commercial jerky. That'll make sure it stays nice and dry. And yeah, so make sure you get some of the air out. And then these guys can be stored in a cool, dry place, a nice dry place. 2 weeks is what you want to do as far as a timeline on these. Use them for when you go out hiking, when you're working outside, even after a workout, to replace some of those electrolytes that you lost, like sodium. All right.